Hi, this is going to cover week 6 materials, and we're going to start off with a number analysis program. So, kind of show you here, but with lists, how this works and stuff. We're going to design a program that asks the user to enter a series of 20 numbers. The program should store the numbers in a list, then display the following data: the lowest number in the list, the highest number in the list, the total of the numbers in the list, and the average of the numbers in the list. So let's go ahead and get started with this. I'll get Python up and running here, and then I'll start a new file. There we go. Okay, get this. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start off with main, and we're going to set number list equal to an empty list, which is bracket and bracket. And then we'll go ahead and set low equal to 0. Oops, get this 0.0. High equal to 0.0. These we probably don't need to do in Python. I'm guessing that the person that created this example used either Java or some other language as their number one language, and did this because in those languages you have to declare all your variables. Okay, then we'll do a for loop. Count in range 20, because we want 20 numbers. Number equals float input enter number plus str count plus 1 plus of 20. So we're going to enter number, and so let's say the first time through here count's going to be 0, so enter number 1 of 20. So then our number list dot append number. So we add that into our list. So now low is going to be equal to, and we use a built-in function min of our number list. High is going to be equal to max, another built-in function of Python. Total is going to be equal to, and if you remember looking at my last video, I mentioned this sum was a built-in function in Python, so if you use it as something else, you can't use it for sum. So that's why I always use a different variable rather than the word sum. Total, all, whatever you wanted to use on that. Number list. Average is going to be equal to our total divided by 20.0. Oops. Okay, so now we got to do is print out our results. So we're going to print f quote low in a curly brace, low and curly brace end quote in parentheses, and we'll do this also for high. And total. And our average. And we're going to format average with a dot to F. So we got all that done there. Whoops. No, wrong place. Sorry. Beginning quote instead of the colon there. I hit the wrong key on there. There we go. Okay, so let's save this and see what happens. This is week 6. Save this as process numbers.py. And let's run it and see if we've got any errors in here. Yep, there's the first one. Number equals. It's the equal sign on there. Sometimes I do that and then I don't catch it. So we enter the numbers 54, 68, 91, 23, 46, 12, 98, 34, 32, 19, 11, 41, 62, 89, 34, 56, 21, 29, 12, and 32. Some of the numbers are doubled, but anyway, my low was 11, high was 98, total was 864, and the average was 43.2. Okay, so shows you that it works. If I was doing this and wanted to have this going on or whatever, I would probably use a file to put the numbers in if the numbers were staying the same. If the numbers were changing all the time, then this might be a better way of doing it. So, okay, so we've got another example here. This one's a little more real world. It's over here so you can see it. File name World Series Winners.txt is located in the Lecture Materials module. This file contains a chronological list of the World Series winning teams from 1903 through 2024. The first line in the file is the name of the team that won in 1903, and the last line is the name of the team that won in 2024. Note the World Series was not played in 1904 or 1994. Write a program. Just as a side note, if any of you are from Kansas City, Avila's in Kansas City, the Royals in 1994 were 14, 12 to 13, something like that, games out of first place, and they won 14 in a row. Players went on strike, so they never got to try to get into the World Series. But just a little sidebar on that. Write a program that lets the user enter the name of a team, then displays the number of times that team has won the World Series in the time period from 1903 through 2024. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now with this. So let me get a new file here, get rid of this one, and we'll get started with this. Start our main. So we're going to use a try catch on this. So we're going to do a try, and then inside here we're going to have an input file. That's going to be equal to an open World Series winners.txt, and we're opening this up for a read. Okay. The winners are going to be equal to input file dot read lines, which reads the entire file into winners. This is a quick way to get everything in there, and then you can process the whole thing at one time, which is what we're going to do here. So for count in range, the length of winners sub count is going to be equal to winners sub count dot rstrip, and then whoops, then what we want to do is get rid of that \n or carriage return. Okay, so that's all we wanted to do in the for loop is get that. Because what actually happens up here is that winners is actually a list now of all these teams, and each location in winners is a separate team. So we're running through there on all these, and my dog's going to start barking at something, so I'll close the door. Okay. So this will clear out that carriage return on each one of these in there. So now outside the loop, team is going to be equal to input. Oops. Enter the name of a team. If team not in winners, then we're going to print a message here. The team never won a World Series. Okay. Else, which means that the team is in there, for item in winners. Okay, and then this is something that I missed on here. So since this next variable that I'm going to use is going to be adding to it, I need to initialize it to 0. So win count is going to be equal to 0 on here. So I'm going to come back down here then. So then win count plus equals 1. Okay, so once we get done with that, then we want to print this information. So we're going to print out the, and then in curly braces, team for the team name to be printed out. Won the World Series. I'm going to do a backslash on here to go down the next line. Actually, I have to close this off and then do a backslash. I think I never broke this up with an F in here. Win count times between 1903 and 2024. We'll see if that works or not. Okay, and then we're done with all this. So we're going to go to out here and do our accept. We're going to do a couple of accepts. Accept IO error. We're going to print the file could not be found. We're going to do an accept for index error, and we're going to print out a message for that one. It would be there was an indexing error. And I think I got one more on here to do. Just a blank accept for any other accepts that may happen. An error occurred. And then we'll run it and see what happens. Okay, so let's get this saved. Save it as worldseries.py. And we'll run it. Enter the name of a team. Kansas City Royals. Kansas City Royals won the World Series. Oh, win count times between, so that didn't work on there. So I'm going to try to take out these quote marks and see if this will work like this. We'll run it again. well, got a big blank in there because it's all those spaces in there, and it says I won 119 times, which isn't right either. So I don't think anyway. So I'm going to back this out. That's going to go off the page here. There. Okay, so and so I left an if statement out here. See that? So that's an error there. So I'll fix that. For team and winners. So if, whoops, if item equals team, then win count plus equals 1. Doesn't work. We just count them all up like that. So let's try this again. So what happens sometimes you get errors in there, you got to fix them. And they won 2 times. They won in 1980, they won in, or I'm sorry, they won in 1985. They played in 1980, didn't win. They won in 1985 and they won in 2015. Okay, so let's run it one more time. Seattle Mariners, and they never won a World Series. So that worked too. So gives you some more information, some more help on using lists and how you can process them with for loops. For loops work really well with lists. So I'll show you some of that, and files. You can get lists work real well with file data too. So hope this helps you out on this stuff. Bye.